Today, I'm going to go through the Stark Tactic deck. But first, a disclaimer. This is being recorded in early August, more than 6 months before the game's actual release, so some changes to these lists are inevitable. So far, all tactics cards have a trigger and initial effect, and a bonus effect that only activates if certain conditions are met. As we go card by card, I will tell you if I think the bonus is needed to reach the card's true potential. We will talk about the tactics board a lot today, so before we begin, let's go over it. On your turn, you can activate a non-combat unit to claim one of the spots on the board and get the effects listed below it. In their articles, Cool Mini or Not has been referring to these spots as Crown, Wealth, Rally, Combat, and Maneuver, so we will as well. Claiming these spots is the condition for the bonus effect on many tactics cards. The Stark Tactics cards favor the combat and maneuver spots of the board, which is nice because these spots are the most direct avenues for dealing and avoiding damage. So let's jump in. Last Stand. Triggers when a friendly unit is destroyed. That unit may make one attack action using its highest attack value before being removed. If you control the combat spot on the board, they may also re-roll any misses. Free attacks are always good. It's too bad the trigger requires a unit to be destroyed, but with any luck they can take the unit that killed them down with them. The re-roll for holding combat on the tactics board is nice, but since the unit is already getting to attack at full power, it should be able to deal some damage without the re-roll. I like this card especially for Umber Berserkers, since getting one last attack out of your expensive last cannon unit can really turn a battle your way. Swift Charge. Triggers after a unit rolls for charge distance. That unit may re-roll their charge distance die. If they roll a 5+, the targeted enemy becomes vulnerable. If you control Maneuver, the unit automatically counts as having rolled a 6. I'm a big fan of this card. Every time you charge, you have at least a 16.6 chance to fail, so having this card sitting in your back pocket for those moments is great. A chance at giving them vulnerable is also quite nice, and if you've already claimed Maneuver, then you can guarantee success on long charges that normally would be very risky, like a 10 or 11-inch charge. Tactical Regroup. Triggers at the start of a friendly turn. One friendly unit may immediately make a free retreat action. If you control Maneuver, they may restore up to 3 wounds as well. There's a lot you can do here. You can use this to straight up run away with a unit. You can also back up an inch so you can come back in with a charge and get those re-rolls on misses. There is a risk in doing that since there's always a chance of rolling a 1 and missing the charge. But you can negate this with Swift Charge. If you already have Maneuver claimed, suddenly this card is even more interesting. There isn't a lot of healing in the game right now, so healing 3 is quite nice, especially on units with resilience. Winter is coming. Triggers on the start of a friendly turn. One enemy becomes vulnerable. If you control combat, they become weakened as well. Making your enemy vulnerable means a chance at more damage, especially against enemies with medium to good defense. Causing them to gain weakness as well is good, but might not even be necessary if the attack goes well enough to destroy them. One thing to remember is these tokens can go anywhere, not just on the enemy you're planning on attacking this turn. Northern Ferocity. Triggers when a friendly unit attacks. This attack gains Vicious. Enemies suffer -2 to panic tests against this attack. If you control combat, that enemy also becomes panicked. Panic damage is good, especially against units with bad morale, and so far, that's many of the non-Stark units. The bonus panic token makes this card much more reliable if you can get it. The North Remembers. Triggers when a friendly unit attacks. This attack gains Critical Strike. Rolls of 6 cause 2 hits, and may reroll any attack dice. If you control combat, Critical Strike triggers on 5+ instead. Oh man, it is normally not possible for a unit to create enough hits to destroy another unit in just one attack. Even if you're taking an enemy in the rear, you're only getting bonuses against their armor, not more hits. The North Remembers changes that. It's not the only way to get Critical Strike in the game, but with the combat spot claimed on the tactics board, it lets your 5-ups also deal hits. Now you might manage to bury your opponent in 12 or more hits, giving you a chance to one-shot them if their defense saves go poorly. You might be tempted to play this card during a charge in order to eliminate the opponent's counterattack, but if you use it during a normal attack, it grants the same reroll you get from a charge. Devastating Impact. Triggers when a friendly unit attacks. If they charge, this attack gains Sundering. Enemies suffer -1 to their defense saves. If you control Maneuver, this attack also rolls an additional 2 dice. This card is a great way to push through that Lannister armor. There's little reason to play it on your Berserkers because they already have Sundering, so the bonus against armor won't stack. Stark Outriders will love it though, because they can charge every turn. The bonus dice for having the Maneuver spot on the tactics board is nice, but not necessary. So those are the generic Stark cards. The best bonuses the Starks can hope to get from claiming the combat spot on the tactics board, but a Stark commander shouldn't expect his opponent to allow him access to a free attack every turn. Luckily, many bonuses from the maneuver spot are also quite good. Now let's take a look at the Stark commander tactics, starting with Greatjon. Greatjon Umber has an interesting risk versus reward playstyle. He can reroll misses, but must take any remaining misses as casualties to his unit. This, like many of his cards, seem to favor his Umber Berserkers, although it can be used on other units. Berserker Tactics triggers when a friendly unit attacks. This unit may attack using its highest attack die value. If this unit has one or more destroyed ranks, the enemy becomes vulnerable. If it has 2 destroyed ranks, it also gains +1 to hit. This card gives you quite a lot. Although you could use it to give a full health set of Umber Berserkers 2 extra attacks, the smartest thing to do with this card is play it on a heavily damaged unit, which means the card will usually get all of its bonuses. You can play this on a heavily damaged Berserker unit for +1 to hit and a vulnerable token, but it's actually even better on any other infantry, since they will go from low number of dice to a high number of dice, as well as gaining the other benefits. Reckless Aggression triggers when a friendly unit activates. That unit may immediately make a free attack action. It suffers D6 automatic casualties after that attack is complete. If this unit contains Greatjon Umber, this attack also gains Vicious. Enemies suffer -2 to panic test caused by this attack. Free attacks are always good. Attacking twice in your turn is always good. Dealing yourself damage is less good, but probably worth it in many situations. When a unit only has 6 figures left, playing this card is probably not wise, as if it destroys itself, it won't be able to make a second attack. Berserkers are the obvious target to use this on, since other units will have less dice to roll if they lose a rank. But there are ways around this, such as playing Berserker Tactics on the second attack, or using the Sworn Sword ability to boost its dice. Getting Vicious from Jon Umber is cool, but with 2 attacks you will hopefully be deleting this unit before it can make a panic test anyway. Umber Resilience. Umber Resilience triggers when a friendly unit is attacked. If this unit has at least 1 destroyed rank, it gains Resilience 2 for this attack. If the unit contains Greatjon Umber, it also automatically passes its panic test. This card is great for keeping a unit around. It can save your fragile berserkers from being destroyed, but I like it on any unit that's about to take a beating. Greatjon giving you guaranteed success on your panic roll is great, especially if the enemy has a panic token or other morale debuff on you. Next, let's look at the King of the North himself, Robb Stark. This attachment allows him to perform marches or retreats instead of maneuvers when you claim the maneuver spot on the tactics board. His cards similarly will allow him to do things your opponent might not be expecting. Wolf's Cunning triggers when a friendly unit activates. Instead of performing an action, one previously activated unit may perform one action instead. This unit will still gain an activation token. If either unit contained Robb Stark, you may also draw 1 tactics card. This is a powerful ability. Being able to activate a unit twice could have devastating consequences for your enemy. Your opponent might wait to activate a unit that has been attacked already until the end of the round, knowing that it won't be hit again. But with Wolf's Cunning, that unit could be hit again on the next activation, and now it's been destroyed and won't get to attack at all. The bonus tactic card from having Robb in one of the units is nice, but it's not why you play this card. Superior Positioning triggers when an enemy unit charges. That enemy must roll an additional die and select the lowest result. If they target a unit containing Robb Stark, Robb's unit may also immediately make a 3-speed maneuver. Those risky medium-range charges just got a lot riskier. Even 1-inch charges now have higher odds of rolling a 1 and failing the charge. And if Robb Stark's being charged, he can perform a maneuver that might put him out of range of the charge even if it didn't fail. It's unclear what happens to the other unit if Robb does this. Is the charge considered successful? Does the unit move? Expect either an FAQ or a rewrite of this card, but if it stays, it's a very powerful ability. Flanking Maneuver triggers when a friendly infantry unit activates. That unit may immediately make a free maneuver action. If this unit contains Robb Stark, it gains +2 speed for this maneuver. This turns every unit in your army into cavalry, allowing you to hit those flanks and get off charges no one was suspecting. Because it only works on infantry, cavalry will not be able to use it to get 2 maneuvers, which makes sense because that would be crazy powerful. The bonus movement you get from having Robb in the unit will help get you where you need to go, but probably isn't necessary to get a flank off. And now we have come to Howland Reed, who is the most unique commander currently foiled in the game. Instead of being an attachment, he's a non-combat unit. When he claims a spot on the tactics board, he gives a unit -1 to hit, and if he claims the maneuver spot, they also take 1d6 damage. His tactic cards are similarly guerrilla warfare themed. Crannog Traps triggers when an enemy enters or ends a move within 2 inches of a terrain feature. That enemy suffers D3 automatic wounds and must make a panic test. If the terrain was bog or forest, they suffer 2 additional automatic wounds. So the amount of terrain people will use will vary, but we know from the description of the Game of Thrones mode that mode suggests 4 pieces of terrain. You will get to place 2 of them yourself, so you should be able to place them somewhere the enemy can't avoid. Placing a bog or forest will cause even more damage, and the enemy may think twice about sending bad morale units near terrain pieces. At the end of the day, you can only play this card twice, and odds are it won't do that much damage. But cards like this have just as much effect when the enemy knows you could play them as when you actually do. If they're scared to go near terrain, you have an advantage. Bog Devil Ambush triggers when an enemy unit activates. That enemy suffers -2 this activation. If they are within short range of a forest or bog, they also become weakened. No damage here, but it could stop an enemy from being able to charge you or from reaching an objective. The bonus weaken token for being near a bog or forest will likely be difficult to get. But the main thing this card does is keep a powerful unit out of the fight for an additional turn. Guerrilla Tactics triggers after a friendly unit attacks. That unit may immediately make 1 free maneuver or retreat action, and automatically pass its panic test. If you control maneuver, they gain +1 speed for this move. This card is designed for range units. Fire at the enemy and then back up or get out of their way. There are some infantry things you can do with this, like pull back so you can charge next turn. This card would be amazing if the Starks ever got a unit that could set for charge like the Lannister pikemen can. The extra movement you get from claiming maneuver is nice, but I don't see how it's necessary. So those are the Stark commanders. They all play so differently, I'm not sure which I think is best. Greatjon Umber's full frontal assault, Robb Stark's sneaky ability to not be where you thought he would, or Howland's guerrilla tactics. Which commander are you most excited to play? Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe.